I found the best streaming interface on the market. So I'm saying goodbye to my favorite microphone, and I'm going to tell you why. What's up, everybody? I'm the Derek Frank, and today I'm going to be showing you the absolute best streaming interface that I have found yet. This thing is packed with tons of incredible software, a lot of features, different input and output options, and it's all bus powered, which means that all you need is just the USB cable into your computer to use it, which means that it's portable and it looks really, really cool. The interface that I'm talking about is the Presonus Revelator io44. Now you might be like, Derek, you already used the Presonus Revelator microphone. That's right, and I love that microphone. It's really great. The drawbacks are it's only got a single headphone output and there's no input. Now you can do some routing and stuff, and I've done that for doing streaming for gaming, for Zoom, for different meetings and different presentations, but it does have its limitations. The one thing I loved about the Revelator was the software. The built-in DSP was incredible, having all of your effects, compressors, gates, modifying your different tones, your EQs, having some of those fun things like voice modulation are also really good features that I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to have to add another big interface. I already have an interface for my recording setup, but that's a little cumbersome for just streaming meetings or video games or things like that. That's where Presonus came in with the Revelator io44. They did recently come out with the Revelator io24, which was really close to what I was wanting, but it did have a couple key features that were missing still. That's where the io44 has changed that. Now, before I go any further, I will say Presonus sent me this at no charge, but this is not a paid demo. I wanted to try this out. I actually reached out to them and asked them if I could try this because I thought that it was going to hit all of the check marks that I needed in my setup and what I think a lot of you are really going to like. That assumption was absolutely not wrong. Not only can you plug a regular XLR microphone into this, as well as a phantom-powered microphone if you want to use a condenser mic, but it also has one of the best features that I've seen out there, and that's the ability to plug in your gaming headset mic right into it, plus have all of the features that the Revelator had. It's no mystery that gaming headsets really lack in their microphone quality, and that's where this comes in. These do a pretty good job of eliminating background noise, as good as you could expect from a headset mic, but it's not as good as having a really good professional gate and compressor. The ability to also have a line in is really cool. If you want to do an output from another audio source, like another interface, or maybe your Xbox or PlayStation or whatever your gaming setup is, it's really easy to do that without having to route it through the computer. You can just do that on here, and then it's all in one piece of software. This is all done in a really tight package. It is not a big interface at all, but it looks really great. The onboard screen is really easy to read, and having the dial and the buttons makes it easy to pull up your presets and to adjust your volumes right on the fly. So if you don't want to go in the software and you just want to do things with your hands right there on the interface, you can do that. So if you're using a laptop, this is the perfect interface. You don't need power, it runs straight off the USB, so it's easy to travel with if you're gaming, if you're doing Zoom meetings, if you just need to get out and go into the living room and work on your stuff, but you still want to have your headset, this is what you want. I also really love that it's got a set of stereo outputs on the back. It's great to plug into your studio monitors or use that as an output into another interface as well. I do that when I'm recording so that I can basically have the features of two interfaces without having to route them really weird ways. Now let's dive into some of those features, but when I do it, I'm going to use a different microphone that's plugged directly into the Revelator io44, so you can hear some of those options. Let's jump right in and check out the software for the Revelator io44. You'll notice that it's almost identical to the software for the regular Revelator USB and as well as the Revelator io24. There are a few differences though. Over here, you've got your channel that's controlling this microphone with your phantom power, gain, and the ability to add reverb on there. Next to that, you're going to have the channel that's going to control the headset microphone, which we're going to do next. And then next to that, you have your line-in control. Then you have 3 other input options. These are great if you want to route your computer audio, your audio for music, and maybe another source, whether it's Discord or a voice chat while you're gaming. These are great because not only can you mix them in your own ear mix, but you can also send 2 separate mixes out. You've got Stream Mix A, Stream Mix B, and you can monitor each one of those mixes individually as well, so you know that what is going out to either OBS, Zoom, or your gaming system is what is actually supposed to be heard. Now, my favorite features, and this is exactly why this interface hits every check mark for me, and that is because all the built-in effects. As you can see right here, you've got Presonus's famous fat channel. It's got your high-pass filter, gate, compressor, EQ, limiter, and then an option to have some different modulations and effects. Right now, I've got it set up on their broadcast feature, but you can either do your own setups where if you want to modify the sounds or you want to change the parameters, you can do that and you can save it and you can name it whatever you want. They've also got some interesting different features that are built in. You've got this really cool slap echo. Check 1, 2. Kind of cool. And these might be used with an instrument or maybe just for fun on your stream. This is one of my favorites. This is the deep-tone vocal. Not sure why you never actually need this, but it is pretty cool. And there's several others. Now, I'm going to turn off the broadcast, so this is going to be straight through the microphone, and you're going to hear all of the background noise. So you can hear my air conditioner running. You can tell like the sound isn't as thick. There's no compressor on it. And you can just hear that hissing in the background. But the second you turn this on, that audio gets cleaned up a ton. Now, let's see if that same is true when we use a headset microphone. So now I have my Red Dragon headset plugged directly into the Revelator io44. This is with no processing on. What's really great about this is not only when you plug this in through the single jack do you get your microphone, but also your headphones now work. No need to have 2 separate jacks to plug in. Now, let's hear the difference when we turn on some of the processing. Already way quieter. My voice is louder. It's bigger. It's just a better sound. And of course, this has several other different features as well. You've got your vintage channel, gives you a little bit more of that old time radio, and you can do like the robot voice and different things like that. So what do I mean when I say DSP and effects that are built in? Let's check it out. If you hit this fat channel button here, you pull up all of the different options. You've got your high pass filter, you've got your gate, but not only do you have these, but you can change the parameters quite a bit. Also, here's your EQ. And on the EQ, you can even change what style of EQ. Is it a standard EQ? Is it a passive? Or is it a vintage? Now we're gonna wanna turn that on. And then in your compressor, the same kind of thing. You've got your standard compressor. You've got a tube compressor. Let's turn that tube compressor on a little bit smoother. And we can really pump up that gain and do a lot of hard compression there. And then you've got a FET compressor. Let's do that one as well. Now this compressor is based off of the 1176. I also have the Warm 76 in my rack mount. So it's one of my favorite compressors for most of the things I do. But for voice, I do prefer this standard one, as you can tell. And then you have a limiter. Limiters are great so that you're not peaking out your audio.
and that you're not getting clipping when you're doing your streaming or your meetings. To me, it's very clear that this thing has so many features, but the fact that I'm getting this audio quality out of a headset mic is incredible. One of the worst things about gaming when I was using an external microphone like my Revelator USB mic was that I've got this microphone in front of my face and you're moving around when you're playing, and it was hard to keep my face close to the microphone, but also I had to have my controller under it, and I just felt awkward. Now I can just sit back and relax and play some games.
So what do you guys think of the Revelator io44? Do you think that this could solve a lot of the problems that you have? I know for me, being able to use my headset with all of the built-in DSP and effects is a game changer. Also, being able to use whatever microphone I want is so important. Sometimes I don't want to use just the same microphone. I like to mix it up a little bit. Or sometimes I have to do demos on other companies' microphones and I want to use that interface. That's where I was missing out with the Revelator USB mic. If you want to buy the Revelator io44, I do have some links down below to my affiliate stuff. It's either on Amazon or through Lesson Squad. With Lesson Squad, you can buy this through big retailers like Sweetwater, Guitar Center, Sam Ash, and several others. When you do that through my links, it does help me out a little bit. It gives me a little bit of extra cash flow, again, to kind of help out the channel. As always, thank you guys so much for the support and for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.